Welcome to Cross Transformation. It's Mariam here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how to identify the ego. This topic is of importance because our ego interferes with everything unless we bring the light of awareness. You are the light of the world into the ego, and ego doesn't like that because the whole time ego wants to experience and to become the state of separation instead of bounding itself to Christ, instead of becoming a Christ identity. So ego is all about identity. Christ says there's always something that ego loves to dwell on, whether it's an unhealed perception or a form of projection. So the whole time the ego is experiencing the reality through unhealed perceptions, or it is in the process of projecting something to the world, to somebody else, or it is in the state of becoming the projection itself. So it is quite fascinating how the ego operates, and before we can identify that, it's the ego, and the ego is reacting, the ego is judging, the ego is fighting, the ego is confronting the situation or someone or even myself. So as I always say, the ego is of this world, and our journey is to go within where God is. And what is this within? Within is to realize the presence of God, the only voice, the stillness of God. And for us to become an inward being, we must become the realizer of the Holy Spirit within us. This temple is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So we must treat our bodies, our souls, our minds very kindly so we can hear God. And by hearing God, we can begin the journey of within, or we can expand on that journey. But going within is to come out of the state of separation. I'm doing the best to explain what I'm saying when I refer to having this journey of within. So coming out of the state of separation, because God is not of this world. He was amongst us, He is within us, the true friend, the Holy Spirit. So for us to heal our egos, to identify it, we must become an inward being, come out of this conformed world, not allowing the projection, the perception to lead our path, because that is to walk through the gate that is not narrow, that is not small. It's to walk through the gate that is wide, and it leads to destruction. So we want to avoid walking through the gate that is going to lead to destruction. So coming back to identifying ego, first of all, ego comes with negative emotions. So if you're finding yourself, catching yourself feeling negative emotion, that is literally the beginning of the separation. That is ego beginning its own journey in us, through us, with us. So the first sign is to capture the negative emotion, whether it's anger, blame, guilt, shame. And as I said before, shame shows itself as anger. So if you're experiencing negative emotion, and if you don't find yourself anywhere in the vicinity of love, that means the ego is at work. By feeling negative emotion or identifying itself as being the negative emotion, so ego identifies itself as being the negative emotion, which means I would refer to myself as being an angry person, a sad person. You you become that emotion. So that is ego telling you you're depressed, you're sad, but that is ego becoming. It's in the state of becoming and causing more separation from God within, from God who is love, and from you being that love. So you're departing from love. So by doing that, ego will experience the state of judgment, which means we are no longer discerning, but we are judging. We have got preconceived ideas, emotions and feelings attached to it. So we are not walking the walk with God, discerning without having emotions attached to something. We are judging, we are condemning, we're condemning ourselves or somebody else or even a situation. So that is the first step. The negative emotion, are you becoming that negative emotion, or can you discern that you are not that negative emotion, but you're experiencing it, you're reacting to a situation through that negative emotion. The next thing is ego questions the reality. So whatever the reality, remember in the previous video I mentioned about how I was angry in a specific reality. So I was exploring that anger through that reality. There was nothing wrong with that reality. My ego was becoming that anger the whole time, questioning the reality. No matter what the situation, we must feel content. So if you're experiencing a reality and it's quite uncomfortable and you're reacting to it through a negative emotion, that is ego in the state of becoming. Instead, allow that reality to be of healing to you, which means don't react, don't judge the reality, don't allow the negative emotion and the ego to define that reality. Experience it and see what is inside that would require healing and letting go. Also, ego loves projecting, and it's in the state of becoming that projection. So whatever our parents may have felt in the past as part of our upbringing, the ego will bring those things forward because they projected it to us, the ego became it, and now it's literally experiencing it. So be aware of that, be mindful of that, realize it, and see if you're in the state of projecting things to the world because you have become those things. And that is beautiful when we can realize that, oh wow, I've been projecting this thing because the whole time the ego has become that projection itself. Maybe it was guilt. So if you have been guilt tripped by somebody in the past, the ego may have become that guilt trip. Now it's projecting outside of itself, guilt tripping other people. The other thing is the perceptions. So most of the time we may feel confronted by someone's behavior. What we want to do instead is to step back and say, ego, let's step back, let's see what is happening in the other person's perceived reality. So ego loves to become other people's mistakes. If they do something wrong, the ego will become that mistake and will be accusing them, will just manipulate you to do stuff such as confronting them, reacting to them. So realize that the ego is interested in becoming other people's mistakes. So if you're wanting to identify your ego, look at these things. We want to journey with Jesus, so we must have our focus onto Jesus instead of looking down at the churning waves as Peter did. We want to have our focus on Jesus, be bound to Christ, Romans 7, so we can realize our identity in Him. if we keep doing something that we don't want to do, it is the sin inside us that is doing it. And this is the book of Romans 7 verse 20. So this means that the ego is doing it. The ego that is unhealed, that doesn't have the awareness of you being the light of the world, is either projecting or having its narratives going on, or is in the process of having its own perceived reality and so consumed by it. So I'm hoping that this video would be of help to you. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Cross Transformation. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Make sure to subscribe. I post daily and I've got great content. Bless your soul. May you be at peace. Peace be with you. Once again, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day and God bless you.